almost hard to put to words just how important the present moment is, and understanding that all we have is literally the present moment. When you think about your past, you're thinking about the present moment at that time. When you think about the future, that's a present moment. As you're thinking right now, it's the present moment, it's the present moment, it's the present moment, and it's all you have. The past and the future are just mental constructions, literally mental constructions. And when you experience certain things, like let's say you're experiencing anxieties about something, it's really something that's probably coming from the past, or it's a future discomfort that you think that you're going to experience, or a future discomfort that you don't want to experience. So you're having anxieties and emotions, but those emotions are happening in the present moment, and they're powered by your thinking. Your thinking, thoughts arise, and then an emotion comes. You associate an emotion with those thoughts, and then what happens is, your conscious awareness focuses on that emotion. That emotion really pulls you towards that thought even more. Like the thought brings your awareness to it, and then that emotion pulls your awareness even more, because we're very emotional as human beings. So this whole thing is going on, and it's all happening in present time. So whether you're thinking about the past, you have anxieties or emotions about the past, or anxieties and or other emotions about the future, those are all happening right now. So what you have to do is you have to change how you're processing these thoughts and these emotions in the now, because all you have is the now. All you have is the present moment. This really comes down to understanding that your focus is everything. Where you place your consciousness is everything in present time. So as those emotions occur in present time, you can use your consciousness, not dwell on them, but to watch them. To not focus on them, but observe them. And observation is very powerful, because observation does not pull you into it. You're just observing it. You're taking notes on it. So think about a scientist that's studying like a species of animal or a type of flower. He may like that flower, it's cool. It may be his favorite flower, but when he's observing that flower, he's just observing it. He's taking notes on it. He's looking at its attributes. He's looking at how that flower came about. He's looking at how that flower survives. He's looking at maybe different insects that flower attracts. He's not pulled into the flower emotionally. He's just observing it. He's watching it. So this is what your spirit, this is the role of the spirit. It's the watcher in your life. It's observing things, and it's also observing the present moment. As you go about your day, everything you're doing is happening in the now, and all you have is the now. Things in the future or the past, those are happening in your mind. Not saying don't plan for things, not saying don't learn from your past, but understand that all we have is the present moment. And the more it's funny, I've noticed so many things about the present moment in the past few years. I noticed different things, like the more I focus on the present moment, the longer my day feels. The more I focus on the present moment, the less thinking I do, less irrational thinking that goes on. It's just so much, it's just zen, it's just, and this is what, yogis and spiritual leaders call beingness, and just being, because that's like the best word to describe it. You're just being, like you just are. There's no extra stuff. It's just being. And this is why mindfulness meditation is so powerful, because you're just watching what's going on in your mind in present time. You're watching what's going on with your emotions in present time. A lot of your issues, internal battles, are because you aren't watching your emotions and thoughts. You're being pulled into it. And then what do? They create a different reality for you. They tell you should have did this in the past, and it brings you to the past. And then you should do this in the future, and it brings you to the future. And it wants you, and it's like this thing where the mind is trying to like entertain itself, because the present moment is so quiet, and it's so just, it just is. And I kind of think like the mind in some sort of way like wants to entertain itself, like it's almost bored, and it needs something to either latch onto. It needs some sort of problem to kind of happen to be doing something, to have some sort of purpose. And this is part of the reason why I'm always a fan of having purposes in life, having something that you can just that you enjoy, that you think makes a difference in the world. Because there's this thing called flow state, where when you're working on a project or something that you really enjoy, you're just focused on it. Like when I'm working on my business or I'm making a YouTube video, I'm in a flow state. I'm in a flow state right now, right? I am presently focused on what I am doing, and it brings me in the present moment. And when you can really cultivate present awareness, things just a lot of things go smoother. They feel smoother. That things feel more natural, and you enjoy things more. Like when you're going somewhere, you're traveling or something, you can just enjoy that place. When you're with someone, you can just enjoy their company. Like you can just take in them. When you're talking, when you're speaking, you're just speaking. You're not like, oh, what do I sound like? What do they think about what I'm saying? Like, no, you're speaking words, vibrations are coming out of your mouth and into somebody else's consciousness. And you're just bringing out those vibrations. You're not bringing out those vibrations and watching yourself bring out those vibrations and having anxieties about what those vibrations are doing or how those vibrations are perceived. You're not having anxieties about those vibrations. You see what I mean? There's a lot of multidimensional effects of either being in the present moment or not being in the present moment. And of course, it's difficult to do this all the time, right? It's difficult to do this all the time. But if you can just do this more and more each day, present moment awareness, even a little bit throughout the day, just catching yourself thinking too much in the past, thinking too much in the future, catching yourself first and saying, okay, let me bring back to the present moment. What can I do to enjoy the present moment right now? And I guarantee you, watch how your mind starts to calm down. Watch how simple things get. And then something else will arise. It'll get your attention, right? And then from there, it's your job to notice yourself being pulled in that direction. And if it's something that you don't want, like let's say it's a negative thought or a negative emotion, if it's something you don't want, what do? You just watch it and watch it go. Watch it come and go, watch it come and go. And this is what, many spiritual leaders harp on. And it's also what, I want to kind of bring up more on my channel, is the power of presence.